Good evening. I know I'm a few minutes early than what I said I was gonna be, but I'm gonna go ahead. We'll go ahead and kind of get started here. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm on Facebook and YouTube. I wasn't going to go on YouTube at first. Uh, First of all, let me let a few people get on here at YouTube. YouTube, it takes a little minute for people to come aboard. Let a few people get on here, and then I'm gonna get started. Appreciate you for coming in on Facebook over here. Look, it's been a really, really, really busy evening. The last few hours, uh, what's up, Rakia? Rakia. I apologize if I pronounced it wrong. Uh, well, how you doing, Miss Jones? We'll just say it like that. If you've been following the news, social media, whatever, you will know that the last couple of hours here in Little Rock has been, or the last few hours has been extremely busy. Uh, I got a lot to talk about, a lot of information to give you. Uh, listen, listen. I have a lot of information to give you. So this information is very important to those who uh, kill. Now, as I give you this information, I want you to hang on to it. I want you to ascertain it. I want you to think about it. If there's something that you don't understand, I want you to ask me. Um, I want you to engage. I want you to even request to come aboard and speak with me if you feel the need to do so. If you have a particular question or concern, um, appreciate you for coming in, Willie. If you have a particular question or concern, please uh, come on in. Let me address this first before I go any further. Okay, YouTubers, thank you for the returning subscribers. If you already subscribed, welcome. I appreciate you. For those that are first timers here, or you've been coming along but you haven't subscribed, please, I implore you to hit that subscribe button. Then hit the notification bell, and then hit all on the notification bell. That helps to keep the brand growing when my subscribers keep going up. I'm not asking for any money right now. I just need you all to subscribe. Subscribe to my page. So that way I can bring you informational content of what exactly is going on, wherever it might be, locally or nationally or global. Over here on Facebook, I appreciate y'all for the faithful audience that I have. I appreciate y'all for coming in and sticking with me and being with me. I've lost some, I've gained many, and that's just the way social media goes. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in. Uh, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started because I'm not gonna keep everybody here. I'm gonna try not to keep everybody here long, but like I said, I've got a lot of information to give. Some of the information I'm not going to give for time constraints, but I'm going to do the best that I can. And then thereafter, I can give additional information later on down the road. Shandell, appreciate you. Okay, so as you know, we're talking about Mayor Scott and Mayor Scott's statements that he made to KARK News about the crime rate in 2025 being down compared to a 2022 stat comparison. Uh, he said that overall crime is down 19% and violent crime is down 12%. So my thing was this: when I saw that and I heard Mayor Scott say that, uh, it alarmed me because I knew that information not to be accurate. And how I know that information not to be accurate is because I'm going to give you these numbers. Now, I'm going a little backwards here, but just stay with me because there's a second part to what Mayor Scott said, and I'm going to get to that. So the numbers right now for homicides in the city of Little Rock, we're just going to talk about homicides. For homicides right now, currently in the city of Little Rock, as of, we'll say June, the end of June, June 30th, because nothing's happened, no homicide has happened yet in July. And I'll get to that. We're at number 31. And 31 is just for the first pretty much 6 months. Now, Mayor Scott compared what we currently sit at right now at half of a year, at 6 months, at 31, and said that that crime rate for violent offenses have dropped compared to 2000. Hold on. Okay. Compared to 2022. Now, the overall rate, the overall amount of homicides for the year of 2022 for a 12-month period was 81. Now, if Mayor Scott is comparing 6 months to 12 months to say that the crime rate is down, then he's inaccurate. Now, when he says violent crime, as I stated before, violent crime includes homicide, rape, robbery, kidnapping, causing a catastrophe, uh, battery, assault, all that. And that's how they come up with these obscured numbers. Instead of, because see, this is the thing. If you say violent crime and you lump it all together, if you've got a large number of homicides, but you only have 0.1 kidnapping, you only have 1 battery, you have 0.2 assaults, and so forth like that. That is going to bring that down and make the homicides not look like what they really are. It's a bait and switch. And to my understanding, Mayor Scott gets his information from the Little Rock Police Department. Now, if you think that the Little Rock Police Department is going to give out the accurate information, then something is seriously wrong with you, because they're not. And then you would say to yourself, I know some people are probably saying, well, I can't believe Frank would give off information that he know to be not true. Let me tell you something. It's about politics, people. The mayor doesn't want the police department to look bad because he is ultimately over the police department. He's over the city. So he would either, one, think that the police department would give him accurate and true information, when in actuality they are not. Then you would think the mayor would say, no, this is not, let me check this out myself. He's not going to do that, because if he did that and he found out that the police department was giving him inaccurate, false information or obscured information, then there would be a problem. See, I'm going to tell you why they use 2022. They use the year 2022 because 2022 was our highest rate of homicide, 81. It was the highest rate of homicide compared to banging in the rock in 1993, when the number of homicides was 76. At 76 in 1993, Little Rock made national news for banging in the rock. And we had the highest rate of homicide that we had ever had. And that carried on, that number of 76 carried on until 2022. When 2022 broke the record at 81 homicides for the year. Now, my question to you is, are you going to allow Frank's misinformational words that are coming out of his mouth, override what you know to be as inaccurate? Now, I've seen people all on social media praising Frank about this statement, but I want y'all to think about something. I want y'all to seriously think about something. How is it every time Mayor Scott gets on television in front of the cameras, he always says the same exact thing, that crime is down. I guarantee you, if he tried to tell the mother of a grieving child, if I'm saying that right, not the child ain't grieving, but if you try to tell the mother of a child that was murdered and she was grieving that the crime rate is down, she gonna talk crazy to you here in Little Rock. Just today, outside of the shots fired calls that we see that come across the dispatch, there was a shooting that took place this evening, at the Outlet Mall off of Bass Pro Parkway. One of my viewers were out there, and she told me that shots rang out and it sounded like a machine gun. Now, there was an off-duty officer there at the time, and information got mixed up and thought the off-duty officer who was in plain clothes was in fact the shooter when he was not. So there's a video on social media showing, to my understanding, that person with the gun, that's the off-duty officer. So one person was shot and injured in that shooting. Now, as of right now, the person, or a couple of hours ago, according to Little Rock Police Department, that individual was in stable condition. And we're praying that he recovers and does not add to the number of homicides. Then, right after that happened, there was another call that came across dispatch of a 911 caller called and said that a white male, appeared to be in his 50s, had just fired a gun by the 911 caller's ear and gave the address. The radio transmission from the dispatch is on my page. And the dispatch operator to the police transmitted that the shooter, who was a white male in his 50s, had made threats against, she said, us, meaning law enforcement, and the president. That police later cornered this gentleman at some point, and he allegedly stated to police, "If you engage upon me, I will execute you all." This happened tonight. That was supposed to happen, I believe, in Maumelle. It happened, I believe the address was 15 something Wade Drive. And I Googled it and it came out to be in Maumelle. This is one day after the mayor claims that the city of Little Rock is safe and that crime rate is down compared to 2022. Now, I'm just giving you this information. You can do what you want to do with it. You can believe it. You don't have to believe it, or you can search it and look it up for yourself. I'm giving you tangible information. So I'm going to give you these numbers of the homicides from 2016 to currently 2025. Now, 2016, 42. 2017, 52. 2018, 42. 2019, 43. 2020, 55. 21, 63. 2022, 81. 2023, 65. 2024, 34. That's all within a 12-month span. And currently at 6 months, 2025, we are sitting at 31 homicides. People, when I tell you one homicide is too many. But right now, at 31, we are on a pace to reach 62. 62 would come less, would come one less than 2021, because 2021 was 63. It would come 3 less than 2023 at 65. The crime rate in Little Rock is not down. It is not. I don't care what the mayor says. If you look at, if the crime rate was down, why the hell would that need to be for police getting overtime? If you just looked at the Little Rock communications dispatch page, as I do every day, there's a call on there, multiple calls. If you listen to a scanner or whatever, you will get multiple calls back to 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 back. Breaking and entering, stolen vehicle, strong arm robbery, what's that called? Subject down, shots fired, shots fired, shots fired, different calls. Police/suicide, breaking and entering, domestic disturbance, a chase, a person eluding the law, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. If these calls are constantly going on, how in the world can overall crime be down if you getting all this that's going on? How in the world can the crime rates be down? The only way they're going to get these numbers is when they use (2022), which the numbers I gave you were for homicide and homicide only. But how you gonna come along with the whole entire rate? It's not making sense. The math ain't mathing. Then the second part of Frank's statement read this. I'm gonna read his entire statement. And I want y'all to understand something before I say this. Out of the last 4 years, the homicide rate has doubled that of the Black population rate for the city of Little Rock. As of October the 6th, 2024, North Little Rock's Black population rate is 43%. Little Rock's Black population rate is 42%. And Pulaski County's Black population rate is 39%. In the last 4 years of just homicides, of 2024, 2023, 2022, and 2021, 34, 65, 81, and 63. That rate has doubled the amount for the population of Little Rock. Those are not numbers that I made up. Those are true facts when you look at the crimes that have been committed. So the mayor said it was stated city officials, which is the mayor, said Little Rock Police Department statistics show overall crime is down 19% when compared to a 5-year average. And violent crime is down 12% over the same span. Now, here's the second part that I said I was going to bring up. Mayor Scott attributed the decline to the crime reduction strategy implemented in 2022. That was the high number of homicide year that broke 1993 banging in the rock. Now, right there, let me pin that. Why use the crime rate from 2022 to say that the crime is down in 2025? Why are you using something in 2022? See, they have to use 2020 because the numbers were at the highest for a 12-month period. So to say that the numbers are 80% right now at 6 months, and that makes it less or lowered, is not accurate. Crime right now, you cannot say is down when it comes to a person on Saturday morning funeralizing their son or their daughter. If 13 people have a funeral this coming Saturday where their loved one was murdered the previous week, one would argue that that 12% is not accurate. Even though it's just numbers, it's just a hard number versus a percentage. But how is this percentage, this 12, when our numbers double on the crime rate of the years of the homicides? If I'm making sense there, all you have to do is just take the numbers and make them connect. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not very good with numbers. I'm not. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not. I wasn't a mathematician, but I don't have to be a mathematician to know that the numbers are not math. This math ain't math in here. It's not. It's not mathing here with what Frank Scott is feeding us. Now, he went on to say the strategy plan includes police patrols in high crime neighborhoods, salary increases and bonuses, school-based and street-based interventionists. Now, these school-based and street-based interventionists, what are they doing within these schools that's stopping the crime out in the streets? Because Sergeant Willie Davis can be doing a wonderful job at meals, and that's in the county. But here it is, all this is going on at the schools at Southwest High School, at Hall, at Central, and so forth. During the school years, we hear of the fights that are going on in the schools. We hear about sometimes the schools being placed on lockdown because somebody's got a gun at the school or what have you. But yet the Little Rock Police Department and the mayor is saying that they're attributing the 19 and the 12% down to this. Solutions-based initiatives in the community and more. What school and street-based interventionist, solutions-based intervention initiatives, and what are the more? See, there is no times that we can question our mayor on these questions and get a definitive answer. He's not going to hold a meeting somewhere and take questions from the community with these type of questions and answer them. I'm not talking about with his board up there. I'm talking about him, since he is the one providing these answers. I would like to stand before him and question him or sit down with him one on one and ask him these questions to explain this to me live while you all watch. Now, I believe out of all the bloggers, out of all the journalists and everything, I'm the most objective one here. I don't hate Mayor Scott. I supported Mayor Scott. I voted for him both times, both his terms. I don't know, and I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to go ahead and end this, because I'm going to say this like this. This, what I'm about to say, is to Mayor Scott personally. Facebook here, YouTube there. Mayor Scott, I invite you to sit down with me one on one to do an exclusive where I can ask you questions and you answer them. Questions about crime rate, the upticks, the downticks, and every type of tick when it comes to the crime rate. I'm not, and I will tell you, I'm not going to ask you about the overall crime rate. I'm not even going to allow you to have that umbrella. I'm going to ask you specifically, and I'm giving you the opportunity to get your information together. I want it broken down. The rate from 2016, since I put those numbers on up to 2025 for murder. That category. Kidnapping. Rape. Robbery. Aggravated robbery. Kidnapping. Gang violence. Domestic battery. And so forth. No one violent crimes. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. I'm giving you the blueprint and what I want and would ask you about. And normally a person wouldn't do that. But I'm not here to shame you. I'm not here to shame you at all. I'm here to break down the particular categories. Because these numbers on homicide rate is what I care about the most. Because we're losing our young Black men and women to this. We're losing 2 at a time, or at least 2. The one that committed the homicide and the one that's in the grave. Do I need to say that again? We're losing at least 2. The one that committed the homicide, that's going to go to prison, probably for the rest of his or her life, and the one that's 6 feet under. The one that mother, that grieving mother, has to funeralize. I want you to be able to tell me and show me how, not percentages, we're not even going to use percentages. We're going to sit down and have a man-to-man, straightforward talk on live for the people to watch, where you can explain the number of homicides and if those numbers are lower than what they were last year. Now, I'm just gonna break it down to you and just show you. Last year, the total number for 2024, the total number of homicides, and please hang on to every word I'm saying here. The total number of homicides for the entire year for 12 months for 2024 was 34. We are sitting at July. The beginning of July so far, barring that this young man that was just shot today at the outlet mall doesn't die, barring that he does not die, then our homicide rate currently sits at 31 for the 6-month period, for half a year. Now, will you be able to tell me that the homicide rate for 2025 is down? Yes, that was my stomach. Compared to 2024. Forget 2022. And we'll even say 2023. 2023 was 60. 2023 was 65 total. So right now, at half a year, we're on the pace to pass 2023, which is sitting at 65. See, I might just look like this, but I ain't got this big ass head for nothing. It's a lot of brain up here. And what am I going to do with it, Pinky? Take over the world. The math ain't mathing, folks. So what does he do? He takes us back to 2022, when that number was 80 plus, the highest what it's been, and compare 6 months to a 12-month and say the crime rate is down compared to the 2022 state. You make that make sense to me, because I guarantee you it won't make sense to you. Again, I'm not here to bash Frank. I believe Frank is a good person. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to end. When I met Frank, he was campaigning. And he was at the corner of University and Colonel Glenn, right there on the sidewalk by the bush, by Walgreens. And I pulled my car into Walgreens parking lot, and I get out and I was video. And he walked over to me. And I said, "How you doing, Mr. Mayor?" And I shook his hand. And he was sweating, it was hot. He was tired. I could see the despair in the young man's eyes. And I shook his hand and I said, "How you doing, Mr. Mayor?" He started laughing. He said, "We not there yet. We not there yet, but by God's grace, if we get there," I said, "God has already spoken." And he welled up a tear in his eye. And I said, "My brother, you will be our first elected Black mayor." You are already in. And we held eye contact and I shook his hand. I don't know if he remembers that. But I am a Frank Scott advocate. All I ask you to do, Frank, is stop being a minion for the city of Little Rock. I understand politics, I get it. But if this guy that the majority of people voted into president of the United States can get up here and do the shit that he does and say the stuff that he does, then damn it, you say what's on your mind too. You are the mayor of the city of Little Rock. Your constituents voted you in, and you owe it to us to give us the truth and the accurate answers and nothing obscured that the Little Rock Police Department, that Chief Helton, and anyone within that department gives you that you know or should know to be false or misleading. A wise man once said, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Malcolm X said that. I don't care what anyone has to say about it. I'm not Muslim, not by religion, or Islam, not by religion. But a wise man said, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Frank, stop falling for anything, my brother. Do the right thing. I challenge you. I ask you to sit down with me one on one and do an exclusive interview where I can ask you particulars and give you the opportunity to answer those particulars. Not with the chief being there, not with Mark Edwards being there, not with anyone from Little Rock Police Department being there. Just me and you. Your security and so forth gonna be in the room also. But I'm talking about no one sitting there with you to help you with the questions or information. I will ask you absolutely nothing that you shouldn't already know as mayor. Point blank, period. So if anyone out there knows Frank, can get this live to him, show it to him. Let us sit down and talk. Hit me up in my inbox. I'll send you my telephone number. You just tell me the date and time and place. I'll be there. I'll make it happen. So we can put this behind us. Because right now, it's not looking really good for you, Mayor, in my opinion. It's just not. So with that being said, I appreciate each and every one of you all. Again, over here on YouTube, if you have not subscribed to my page, to my channel, rather to say, please hit that subscribe button, then tap that notification bell, then tap all, so that way you can get everything when I go live. You can be notified that I am live. That way you won't miss anything if you're able to tune in. I appreciate you. I love you. And I ask that you come back again. Facebook, thank you. I should have been asking y'all for some stars. Uh, if y'all still want to, please give me some stars. I understand that a lot of you all have left alive because of and I know how social media is. Um, but this is information that is for the people. You have and should know what's going on within your city government because you pay taxes. You pay taxes. You work. You 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 help pay the police officers and city employees salaries. So therefore, you should be knowledgeable of what's going on within your city government. And if you're not, then if you're just willing to just toss money away like that, then hey, I can start charging and y'all can start paying here. It's just that simple. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all for staying up with me to listening to this. I've been on here for roughly almost an hour because I came on at about 11:50. I'm saying about 10:50. So I didn't go a complete hour. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. And as I always say, with holy hands held up, shaking, God bless your hearts and all your parts. Goodbye from YouTube.